don't even have. All right, while you work that out, let me pause here. Hey y'all, welcome in. I am doing our Sisters Keeper, a live Sisters after show with a phenomenal co-host. We have done a couple of collabs. Y'all absolutely love the conversation, so we decided that we were going to make it a real thing, come back in season 6 and break down everything that we need to break down about each episode, but also be our Sisters Keepers and get them together as we need to. So I will be joined shortly with Allie Nick, formerly known as Hustle Queen Lee. Go ahead and subscribe to her channel as well. It will be linked in the description box down below. This is a live Sisters after show. I am so excited to talk about this. I'm excited for this season. In all honesty, y'all, I'm really excited for season 6, right? Because I want to get through season 6 so we can get immediately to season 7, which they are currently filming right now, but also has a writer's room. I have all the tea that you need to know about season 7 on the channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And go ahead and check out those videos after this live because I have so much content. 28 new characters that's coming to season 7. The 5 or 6 writers that are making up the writer's room. The storylines that each girl is getting. Like, I'm giving you all the good tea, right? So go ahead and check that out. We are going to be starting shortly to talk about the premiere episode. If you haven't seen it already, then spoiler alerts, okay? Spoiler alert. I'm going to be talking about this premiere episode, season 6, episode 1. So be right back. All right. Hey, y'all. Let me see who's all up in here. Shell D. Hey, Boo. Mrs. B. Hey, honey. Orange Pepper. Orange Pepper says this episode was a banger. Good way to start off the season. Hey, Wall 46. Wall 46 feels like I thought less time could have been given to Q, Maurice, and Calvin, in my opinion. We gonna talk about it, shall. And Orange Pepper says, so basically all the team of relationship is about them talking about sex or about to have sex or Zac talking about his baby mamas. It's the shade for me. It's the shade for me. Where y'all watch that? Madison, I watch it on Philo. So there's an app that I have called Philo, Philo. And I really, really love that app. I'm able to access so many television series across various networks. This is not a sponsored video. However, I do use that, and I have been using them for, I want to say like 2 years now. But they allow me to watch things on East Coast Standard Time without like having the conversion, because a lot of things when I log into them and try to watch them, it'll put me on Pacific Standard Time, because y'all know I live in Los Angeles. So with Philo, it allows me to watch when East Coast is actually watching. So that's how I'm able to watch Sistas when y'all get it. Y'all should really check it out. I believe it's like 20 or $25 a month, but you get a ton of channels, like so many channels. Orange Pepper says, love me some Hustle Queenly. We working on getting her up in the live. She's having a little bit of technical difficulties. Hey, Mimi loves peace. How are you, honey? Hayes McClellan says that this was off the chain. Hey, Aaron Boo. Shout out to my members up in the chat. Money Greens. Hey, Aaron, what's up? You watching it right now? Okay, so we don't want to spoil anything for you, Money Greens. Hey, just keep popping in and popping out. You love the directing of this episode. There was a couple of different like shot selections. I'm like, okay, Mr. Perry, we see you. We see you, sir. Hey, Tracy B. But if you're just popping in here, I am currently live on Twitter as well as here on YouTube, and we'll be up on IG. Later on, we're going to be inviting people to share their thoughts on both Twitter as well as IG as we go through, break down the episode. But the premise of our Sisters Keeper is not only to give you breakdowns of the episodes or recaps, because I do that in my videos, right? And there's plenty of commentators that are doing that. We also want to have a sister-to-sister conversation about some of the themes, some of the circumstances, some of the things that we're seeing play out within the within the interpersonal relationships that we're seeing on screen, and really having like a humanizing moment and just talking at like sister to sister about these girls on our screen. So I'm hoping that we're able to bring a whole nother level to the commentary and review space with this after show. I am looking to make it available as a podcast so that you guys can catch it after the fact as well and listen to it on your commutes or at work or whatever. With this, I'm hoping to provide a lot of advice, and really just some kind of unpacking and hopefully some healing, because we are watching our sisters go through so much. We're watching them go through so much on this show, and I think that it's really important that we use the media that we're consuming to not only entertain us, but when we can, allow it to inform us and to educate us and to help us live better lives. Like, if we don't have to make a mistake and we can watch Danni do it, or we can watch Karen do it, or we can watch, Fatima do it, then why not, let that play out on screen, see it and be like, okay, if I'm ever presented with this, let me make a different decision, or let me at least know my options going into different things. So I'm hoping that that's what this show is going to bring to people. Let me see. Hey, Alicia.
Can you,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank
thank
God.
God.
Thank you, God.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So let's go ahead and like just jump right on back into it. Um, this is Our Sisters Keeper, a conversation regarding Tyler Perry's Sistas. Season 6 premiered, and it was an interesting premiere. You want to give them the spark notes real quick, Alicia, before we jump into dissecting the episode?
Interesting is the word. Hey everybody, I'm sorry for the technical difficulty. It was my fault. But who
Conversation regarding Tyler Perry's Sistas. Season 6 premiered, and it was an interesting premiere. You want to give them the spark notes real quick, Alicia, before we jump into dissecting the episode?
interesting is the word. Hey everybody, I'm sorry for the technical difficulty. It was my fault. But who okay. The episode was episoding. Um it was it was something, it was a lot of things that was, the dialogue. Of course, it was set up for things that's going to be up and coming in this season or whatnot. But, overall, the show was, you definitely could tell that Tyler wrote it. And the episode was just episoding.
Well,
I want to be constructive,
not
huh?
necessarily the review part, but like what happened. What are we about to talk about in reference to where the girls are now?
Well, where the girls are now, well, we're still in the same day, but we are seeing the ramifications of Danni being intoxicated. I guess you could say, quote unquote, the honesty that was released on the girls at the bar. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna see Zac talk about his just yearning desire for the well-being of his son. We see the ramifications of who got shot on the last episode of last season. We find out, who received the bullet. And for the most part, that's where we were. We spent a lot of time with the girls, specifically Danni. We see, Karen standing her ground in her conversation with Aaron. And we see the ramifications of Pam not being responsible for the things that she's supposed to be responsible
I'm gonna go
for.
ahead and put this here because I'm gonna let it go, and I ain't gonna be that
Okay.
girl. But when I tell you, there are thousands of y'all that were DMing me and commenting on my video when I talked about the fire. And I said, and I didn't even know this because people do give me tea. I do have tea from behind the scenes, and I try to be very careful. I'm not trying to do too much spoilers. I want to try to enjoy the experience. So I didn't even know this for a fact. But I literally said that Pam was the reason that the damn salon burned down, and people were dragging me from here to there, talking about, you just want to blame Pam. You don't know that for sure. Aaron's little girlfriend is the one that came and burnt everything down. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry had already given us 4 episodes, and then also a visual confirmation of Pam leaving the curlers on. Don't do me, but go ahead.
And I must say, because I was one of the ones, I didn't say that. I can't even think of little Curly Sue real name. I didn't say that she did it, but I was like, it would have been a great twist if it was her. But I didn't know people was coming for you for that.
Yes, they were
Wow.
on my ass.
Wow.
Swear.
Wow.
But
I didn't know that.
it's like to be on me. Like I feel like it's at this point, it's like a internet sport. Like, can we hate on Erica? Can we comfort Erica? That's gonna give me a little bit of joy today. So you know what? Go ahead and enjoy it, babe. Do your
I
thing.
feel you.
But what
I
else
feel you. I
happened in
feel
the
you. I feel
episode?
you. We see, I ain't gonna lie, I forgot that Q robbed Maurice blind. I forgot all about that. So we see, I forgot Q robbed him like that. So we see, Maurice and Calvin go back to go back to their apartment, only to find that they don't have nothing there. Maurice wanted to go to sleep, forgot he ain't had no bed. I was like, dang, Q did rob him. Wow, he took everything. He took everything. He did. He took everything. We also got to see Danni meet Mindy, and that interaction. And Preston, okay, we'll get him when we get a little deeper, but when we get a little deeper, but overall that was the episode. We got a little clip of Zac and Fatima, like I stated earlier, but for the most part it was a lot of time was spent on Danni in that bar.
Yeah. which was interesting. And y'all,
It was.
structuring this, we're going to give you a little bit of tea. We're going to give you a little overview of what went down. Next up is going to be our favorites, and then we're going to go character by character and just have some real ass conversation. Honestly, that's where we're at with it. So like going into the faves, you asked me this before we got on here, and like I'm still processing the episode. I'm probably gonna have to go back and rewatch it.
Me too.
I'm definitely going to watch it for my breakdown for sure. But I adore all Karen scenes, honestly. So I'm gonna go ahead and say my favorite scene was Karen not letting Aaron come in, staking her claim and like creating this boundary, like communicating that she's not comfortable with what's going on, with the lack of clarity around who the hell this woman is, with his explanation not being enough. And I'm sorry, but baby, it ain't enough. It ain't enough. But then also doing it in a way that is elevated for her character. I think that them having the choice to like have her outside with him was great. And honestly, y'all, like I am rewatching season 1 right now. So I was literally pulled back to the moment that Zac found out about Aaron rolling up on that damn bike and how Karen just laid him out for filth, even though I'm a side note, I'm rewatching season 1 and y'all asses owe Karen a bunch of apologies.
Many
apologies, because there's so
many
much that we have forgotten or that we have allowed these men to tell and say versus actually pointing to what she actually did. But I'm not going to digress, right? I'm not going to digress. Yeah. To be that moment there and like to know where she came from and how she was popping off, and like she has every reason to be just as mad in this moment and just as frustrated and just as pissed. And now she's handling it a lot better. She's handling it differently, and I think that she's handling it with her pregnancy, with her future child in mind. I am just so proud of her. So that is definitely one of my favorite moments. What's your favorite moment of the episode?
That literally, I have that in my notes. That was my favorite moment. For several reasons. I think for one, I believe that it demonstrated the fact that Karen does actually care deeply about Aaron, and the fact that she was affected emotionally by this random woman popping up. And it also gave a flashback when he was like, she just crazy, and she was like, crazy like your ex-wife. Like, like, don't forget, I've experienced certain things with you, and I want to make sure, as you stated, because I am pregnant, I want to make sure I'm not put in that type of situation again. And as you stated, she stood her ground. She did not let him in. She did not let Karen, I just want to be there for you. You could be there for me, but you're going to be here for me outside. Like, I really enjoyed that dialogue of that she stood firm and that she didn't waver. That was actually my favorite part of the episode. And I think Aaron was shocked too. I think he was shocked as well. Like, we can't talk about this inside. No, I said, all right, that's right. No, we can talk about this right here. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
Speaking about Aaron and him being a little bit shocked, how do you feel about his reaction to her in that moment? And maybe what do you feel about his reaction? I want to lead you.
I would say that, I think he was taken aback because I don't think he's been accustomed to Karen being that firm with him, because even though sometimes she is firm, she does allow his talk game to kind of weaken her stance at moments. But I think that he was just shocked. And even when she asked him, like, you didn't tell her about me? I was, when you made up your mind, but you knew about Zac the whole time though. Like, she didn't keep that from him. Like, he was made very aware that I do have feelings for this guy, even though I still want you near. And I think that, so it made me wonder, like, when he got up that day out of bed, did you go to her? Like, where, like, how long Curly Sue been around? How long has she been around?
It's not even, for me, it's not even about like, oh, is he cheating on Karen type of thing, because they weren't actually together.
Exactly.
And trying to sever the tie. What makes me nervous about this, and this is why I am doing this conversation with you, because I love that we get to like unpack this we just get to go beyond the surface. My biggest concern about this is what this means for Aaron as a man and who they have shown him to be. And I get the ick. I didn't go hold y'all. I get the ick with any man who displays behaviors or patterns or a mindset that lends itself to like, you really just can't be alone. Because you were with Karen, or trying to be with Karen, before you were even out of this divorce. Granted, you were like gung ho and like, I'm
Yeah.
about to make this happen, I'm to make this damn decision, but then you were all in on her. And then when she is not necessarily doing what you want or committing to you, whatever, now we find out that you got this other person on the back end. So you have had no time by yourself.
None.
And for me, I would love for us to get to a place as men and women to be able to have a conversation about like, yo, you don't actually need to be with somebody at every given moment of time. And I would love for men to give themselves permission to, I guess y'all calling it sipping or whatever. I don't really understand that term. I do not fucking
Me neither.
But like for me, what I marvel with Aaron is that he was all in with Karen. He loved her and he loved her with all her flaws and all her mess. And it felt so good because it felt reciprocal for like what I see or have experienced Black women do for Black men. So to see that you still had somebody else on the side because you weren't necessarily all in or you were like hedging your bets, I'm like, sir, it's okay for you to fall for a girl and be all in, and maybe she don't actually reciprocate, but you gave all of you because that is who you are and that's who you want to be. Like, I'm so over well, not necessarily the idea of like, it's actually how we're living in a society or how we're pushed to live in reference to don't commit yourself fully to an idea or to a person, and you have all these expectations for everybody else, but like none for yourself. And I'm just like, Aaron, it's okay for you to be in love with Karen. It's also okay for Karen to be fucking tripping right now and you want to stand by her. It don't matter what it look like. It don't matter what it sound like. What is your heart telling you to do? Okay, so then let's do that shit. And now I'm like, it's a little tainted for me because you weren't just all in with her.
That's how I feel too, girl. That's how I feel too. I'm like, that's why I was like, how long has Curly Sue been around? Because as you stated, before Fawn even did what she did, he was very interested in Karen. I'm like, when was you ever with this person to the point that she fell in love with you? Mm-hmm. And then when Karen asked him, well, what did you do to make her fall in love with you? Like, and then when she asked that pivotal question, do you gaslight women? I said,
okay, so I didn't necessarily like that. And I guess this is now where we're going to go into the Karen. Let's start with
the Karen. Okay.
Character by character.
Yeah.
I did not like the way that was phrased because I felt like it was trivializing the term gaslighting. Like, gaslighting is so many different things, and the way they use it in a broad way like that, it just felt very insignificant. It felt like she's just throwing out this buzzword and not really attributing it to anything. Like, if you're going to call somebody out for gaslighting you, then call them out for gaslighting you in something.
Yeah.
You just saying, do you gaslight women? How? Because Karen for you is not gaslighting you. He actually meant that. Gaslighting someone is telling them something but doing the opposite, or telling somebody something and then actually doing the opposite, or basically trying to tell someone that you're not actually this person when you are actually this. And I feel like there needed to be more words. Like her just saying, do you gaslight women? Gaslight them into what? Gaslight them out of what? Gaslight them, like, do you just make, and then she followed it up with, do you just tell them things to make them feel good? And I'm just like, but that part of it is not necessarily the gaslighting, girl. It would be one thing if he was like, oh yeah, I am not dating this girl, she's just crazy for no damn reason. Then he would be gaslighting you.
Correct. I think it spoke to Karen's her true thoughts about Aaron, in a sense, like some of her thoughts about him, because even when she even when she told her mom like he's too good to be true, like I think that it's almost like you know, she feels a certain way about him, but she's still like on the cuff of, I don't know if he's actually real. So I think when she said that question about, you know, do you gaslight, I do agree there should have been other words that follow behind that, because basically, like, are you saying you feel like Aaron is a manipulator? You feel like he manipulates, you know what I'm saying?
So like,
right.
I know that behind that is like, you don't believe you believe that he's too good to be true, but girl, that's your trauma speaking, because it was also my trauma speaking as an audience member of like, all right now, like, in what world does a Black man show up and love a Black woman through all her mess? Like, that don't happen. Like, that is not a thing for him. That is a thing for me. That is a thing for him. So that's why I didn't necessarily like the part with the like, do you gaslight women? Because it wasn't specific enough. It didn't feel like it was coming from actually within her, it really kind of feels like she was regurgitating what she heard from old girl, and then maybe what she disclosed and what we might not have seen on camera for her conversation with the girls. And I love Karen being in a space of like making decisions that are rooted in what she wants and what she believes versus needing so much from everybody else and then regurgitating that. And that part of the conversation just kind of felt like, okay, girl, you heard that and you just put that shit back out. So
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Do you think it would have went off better? Like, I guess for me, I would have preferred to hear her say, because I think her actions to me demonstrated that she was hurt by it. You know, like, because she made the statement. She was like, I was starting to open up.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, yeah, I was starting to open up to you. I was feeling a way, or however it could have been phrased, you know, that by this unknown person popping up, acting that way about you, it just really triggered something in me, how I felt in my relationship with Zac. And I just don't want to deal with that with you. You know, like something more of like using the words. That's why I was like, like, the episode was episoding, but it was like, I felt that moment could have been more significant if it was more of a sentimental expression about how Karen felt about Aaron and that person, as opposed to her speaking from her place of trauma.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better.
But then also, I don't necessarily know if it's a callback to her relationship with Zac. I feel like it's a callback to her relationship with Aaron. Like, this is now the second woman that has popped up, and I know what the crazy fucking looks like from old girl. Like, I have that scar with me forever. Someone blew their braids out in front of me.
In front of me, yeah.
Like, I think that it's more so a call to how their relationship started, and like how at that time she was really trying to reconcile with Zac, and like really like, all right, I did kind of like you. We kind of had a little rocky start, but you gave energy of like, okay, you're gonna get me together, so I'm kind of interested. But then I found out that you're a preacher. Okay, I know. And then I find out that this is all happening. Okay, cool. I'm just going back to the life that I wanted, the life that I had before, and him proactively like helping her get comfortable with him, only for it to basically lead here. I could see if I was Karen to feel like, is this some kind of toxic ass cycle that I don't want to be a part of anymore? Like, I have already unpacked and started to process and heal from one of the most tumultuous relationships that I have ever been in. I would be stupid to just willingly walk into another in a different form.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I could rock with that. Erica.
And also,
I can rock with that.
She's one of the girls who pop up on Danni at the bar because she is getting drunk. But we're going to focus specifically on Karen and what her revelation in part is in the conversation with Danni. How did you feel about that?
I felt like Karen was me in the sense, because it was a part where when Danni asked her, like, mother to be like, tell me you sorry. And Karen kind of looked at her, and I think Andi gave her this look like, girl, just go ahead and do it. I'm like, I just felt like with Karen, telling Danni that she was right about her, and she was going to get the paternity that, I don't know the specific wording for it, but getting the paternity test done. Yes. Like, she was going to the doctor tomorrow. She was going to get it done. And I just felt like, I don't know. I guess I really don't have, maybe I have to watch it again. I didn't really have a feeling other than, you don't have to tell Danni any of this. Like, she's inebriated. She in her feelings. I just didn't feel like it was warranted. Like, I don't know, like, what was the purpose of her telling her that, but she showed up for Danni. But other than that, I just don't feel like I don't feel like Karen specifically needed to express that, but I guess she just did it to keep the peace. But like I said, I may have to rewatch that scene again, because I think Karen was the most quietest one, if I can recall correctly, during that moment.
Conversation, and like, she started the whole like, we love you and we apologize, and like, they're not trying to come for you. But then everybody started to have their little come to Jesus later at the Ultimatum with Danni, and then basically tried to make it seem like everybody needs to do that. So Karen wound up being the last one. I'm not necessarily mad that she did it, but I also felt like the way these girls operate within their friendship, God bless them, because they're going to have many trials to come. I think
Yeah.
it's one thing to be accountable to your friends and be open and honest with your friends, and it's another to let them deflect and continue to do goofy shit and then say, well, I can do my goofy shit because you do your goofy shit. Like, I think that that's the stupidest reasoning in the whole world. And at the end of the day, we're focusing on you, and you want to come and drag all of my sins to the carpet and lay them bare. Okay, cool. I'm pregnant by my ex, maybe, and I'm going to get another test tomorrow, and the preacher man has got me stressed out as well, and Pam finna burn down my whole goddamn salon. How does that help you to stop drinking and bringing home strangers? How does it help?
Period. That's why I was like, I think it was the, you know, as you said, you know, I love you. We're here for you. We were not trying to, you know, call you under the rug or whatever like that, but we were genuinely concerned. And then for it to be flipped and her have to lay her burdens down and lay her sins bare. I'm just like, girl, well, I'm wait till we get to that other chick, because the other girl just got on my nerves. But I'm gonna save it. But you know, I felt like
I love that she also got up out of there. She's like, all right, y'all got this. I'm gonna go do what I had planned.
I'm
like,
going.
I'm excited for this season that we are in when it comes to Karen, because especially after going back and starting to rewatch season 1, because this girl has changed quite a bit over the course of all of these damn seasons, and not necessarily all of it I'm a super fan of, but I love the journey and the story that she's having.
Yeah.
But to see her arrive at a place now where she's not as attached to what everybody think and what everybody got to say, and she feels a lot more introspective, she feels a lot more focused, she feels like she has clear, direct priorities, and like, while I'm gonna show up for you as my home girl, I'm also not going to get into this mess because you wanted to walk your drunk ass over here and talk to him and his little white lady that have nothing to do with me. I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I got a salon to check on. I got ice cream in the freezer, and my feet hurt.
Yes. Yeah.
So kudos to you, Karen.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah. Yeah. She was like, all right, I'm about bounce. I'm about bounce.
We do not owe our friends mandatory passenger riding through all of the streets of their trauma and their drama. We don't owe that to them. You can
yeah.
Because
I think Sabrinna. Because I think Sabrinna was going to go walk over there, and she was like, well, I just pop a squat. I'm like, yeah, because you know you finna get a show. So sit down and watch. You know you about to get a show with Danni. But yeah, I do love that, and I hope that it's continued throughout the season, that we see her putting herself first. Because I think, like you said, I haven't watched season 1 in a minute, but I think that for me, Karen has always been a friend when you need her to be. Like she's always that person that's there. Even if it's tough love, she's a constant presence, and I just feel like I'm hoping that this season she always puts herself first. And tonight was a great start to that.
It really was. I'm so excited for her. Anything else that we need to add about Karen? Y'all have any thoughts or things that you want to share about Miss Karen before we move on to the next sister in the lineup?
Baby, Karen's response when she found out that Pam was having sex on that phone. Baby, I said, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute.
I'm like watching that scene play out, and I might have been Pam before, and I was just like, that shit is not right.
You know.
But it happens.
Maybe everybody. I've had a moment like that. I ain't gonna lie. I had a moment like that where, you know.
I did that to you. I'm very sorry.
Somebody called at the wrong time, and I'm like, okay, double dutch. Do I stop? Do I not? Do I stop? I ain't gonna stop. Hello. But you know, it happens, people. We grown. It happens sometimes.
It happens. All right, so who
it
you
happens.
Want next?
Do you want to save Danni for last, or you want to go ahead and get into that debacle?
Danni, because she's like literally the crutch, not the crutch. She's the mainstay of the whole entire episode, I feel.
That is true. I agree. Danni, let me tell you. Danni touched the nerve tonight. Danni touched the nerve tonight. And I think one of the last times we did a live and I asked myself, could I really be friends with Danni? Like, could I really be a friend to her? And tonight, watching it as of season 6, episode 1, I said no. Because drunk or not, I probably would have went off. Knowing me, like, honestly, I probably would have went off on Danni for myself as well as my other friends. Because I just feel like you're drunk, you're in your feelings, you are hurt, you do have your own trauma going on, and I think that they have been sensitive to that, maybe excluding Andi. And I think the way that she came at them, I'm not a fan of it. Like, I'm just really not a fan of it at all. And how she went around the like ring around the rosy, okay, and like she a priest. Okay, what are your sins, Sabrinna? What are your sins, Andi? What are your sins, Karen? What do you have to tell Mother Danni here so I can pardon you of your sins and your shortcomings? And I'm looking like, but do you understand like where you at? We had to be called because you're drunk. And your keys had to be taken away from you. Like, I just felt like Danny's, don't get me wrong, Manon did the thing because she annoyed the hell out of me this episode. But it's like, did she not? And let me just say, jump cut, I forgot to say this about Karen, played it down in that salon. The coughing, the passing out, that performance was stellar. But back to Danni. Manon did the thing. But I was just like, girl, she annoyed the hell out of me. Even when she went to talk to Preston and Mindy. First of all, I said, Mindy, baby, you better than me. But
not you better than me, you dumber than me.
You
I'm dumb and or stupid, but baby, I don't. Tyler Perry, you better come with one of your reverse Uno cards or something, because the way this lady was talking, I could not believe it. My jaw literally was like about to hit the ground. This is something. He's doing something. He got to be doing something.
I don't know. He better be, because I'm like, she's sitting up there like a deer caught in headlights when Preston began to explain like he's never been in love like that. And she was like, yeah, I just want him to be sure. And I felt like Danni in that moment, like, do you understand who he's referring to? Like, you do know he's talking about Danni, right? And I'm like, okay, Danni just, but that was a performance for the books. I just felt like it was such an immature move, but she was drunk. I don't want to give her no pass for that, but Danni, it was just I guess, we all have our own baggage, and it's clear that Danni her stuff is coming to the surface and she doesn't want to deal with it. But I know me personally, I have a true issue when I look at people like, I can respect the humanity in all of us. I have my problems and my shortcomings, so do everyone else. And I extend grace to that. But there comes a time when I can no longer pacify emotions because you don't want to deal with them. And I think that that's where Danni is. And it's just like, what's really causing her to retreat back from dealing with these things and taking it out on the closest people to her? But girl, Danni just rubbed me the wrong way today.
Well, she was drunk. The needing everybody to lay their sins bare was like, okay, girl, for me, I'm not necessarily mad at her about it. I am disappointed. Because like I mentioned, like, what does any of that do for you? What does Andi being stuck on stupid when it comes to Gary do for you? What does it do for the man spitting in your face and you hitting him with your car? It does absolutely nothing for you. So like, to even bring that to the conversation, if you don't want to talk about it, then don't talk about it. Then say, you know what, I don't feel safe to talk with y'all about how I'm feeling right now.
Right.
And I say specifically safe because that's a word that I think that we all need to get more comfortable using. We need to start asking ourselves if that's what it is or if that's not what it is. And we need to be able to speak to that so that we can speak with some type of urgency and imperativeness. I just partly don't like her needing everybody to confess their issues because it feels like you're using that as a way to minimize what's happening in your life. And again, that's the thing that's most pertinent to you. And this is your livelihood, girl. And then also, again, it just doesn't excuse everything. Danni looking for an excuse versus looking for a way through kind of disappoints me, because I felt like when we were introduced to her, I thought that she was somebody else. But now, in going back and watching season 1, honestly, I feel like I gave her a lot more grace and credit than I really should have. Because in watching season 1 now, and like at first the whole Zac thing and her potentially sleeping with Zac rubbed me the wrong way from the beginning. But like when I look at it now, after seeing season 5 and like all of the other things that they've gone through, there has been very rarely a moment where Danni has like truly taken accountability for her stuff in the mess of whoever it is, whether it's her relationships with her sisters or it's her relationship with Preston. Only person that I feel like we can really, well, actually 2 people. The only 2 people that we can really say like, all right, Danni did all that she could possibly do was probably the jump off whatever situation that was going on with Jerome, and she had a moment in season 1 with that person because he didn't really want to be with her and she was chasing after his ass.
Right.
But then also, I this is not necessarily on her as a character, so I'm also giving her a pass with this. Her relationship with Zac, like I feel like her friendship with him was very much so mishandled, and how we have not really seen them actually interact in the last 2 seasons is wild to me after seeing what we got up in the beginning. But other than that, she doesn't. Every time anybody brings up anything to point out, like, girl, you could be moving a little bit different. This is not actually healthy for you. This is not okay. Like, are you okay? She literally flips it back onto them as if all of her problems in her life are going to go away just if she's able to hit the buzzer and call out somebody else and redirect. And it's like, girl, this is not how this works. And honestly, we're watching this build like a snowball going down a damn mountain, because all of the consequences of you actually not being accountable to your decisions and your mindset right now are getting worse and worse and worse. A man spit on you, girl.
Literally spit on you, then hit you.
And that's like, not her at all. Like, I'm not blaming her for doing that, but I'm like, look at what you're doing that is allowing certain things to transpire or energies to come to you. Like, it's not her fault that that man mistreated her, that man abused her, that man disrespected her. That's not her fault in any way at all.
Yeah.
And I know that it will take a lot for a man to get into a space to be able to do. It will have to be a stranger walking down the street that catches me slipping to spit on me. I will not be in bed with a man that then, and you know, you can never really say never, but just the way that I move and how I have, you know, handle certain things, what I allow and what I don't allow, has just created a certain cocoon for me. And I think Danni needs that. And I don't know how we have that conversation without people feeling like that's victim blaming, because I don't blame her at all for anything that Jonah did.
Absolutely.
But I want her to put her worth more, and I want her to believe that she don't have to be so accessible, and she don't have to be so thirsty, and that she literally has pretty much everything that she needs, and she don't have to go searching for all this stuff with all these random ass men.
I agree with that. I feel like a lot, like you said it, like I think for me, my perspective, season 1, I knew a lot of people who loved Danni. She was their favorite sister, and they thought a certain thing about her that I never saw. Like, she's probably my least favorite. She is actually. She's my least favorite sister, and I used to feel like, I'm like, Danni do a lot of stuff, but I always felt like Danni got a pass because she was like the comedic relief of the show, and I stood on that because that whole situation with Zac, I was like, if that was one of my friends who I consider like, that's my dog, that's my sis, and you did that to an ex of mine, someone who, you know, I still have dealings with, like, I don't condone violence, but it probably would have been something happening. But and I felt like when she made the joke to Karen, like, I F Zac, and they was like, what? Everybody was like, what? And it was like, no, girl, he really loves you. And I'm just like, you was pushing up on this man. You allowed this man to hump you, ejaculate, him thinking he had sex with you. You went on with this show, all because you felt like your girls talked about you behind your back. Like, that's what it took. So I always looked at Danni like real funny looking, like sideways since that moment. And I just felt like you said, there has never been any accountability. And I think about, like, there are moments she's there for Karen. I'm using Karen specifically. Then it was that moment where Karen was trying to tell her, hey, Preston is talking to one of my clients. And she called her a B for what? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I'm trying to help you. I don't need you to do nothing. But yet at the same time, I was just so disturbed because even with Sabrinna's comment, you have been so patient with me and Preston. With me and Calvin, I don't want to talk about that. And I'm like, I said, wait a minute. And in my notes, I put her, we in the damn Twilight Zone? What are we talking about? This girl has literally...
You bring up Calvin at every turn, baby. You would not let them panties go for the first 2 seasons, honey.
You would never let them panties go.
Right now, so y'all can't tell me... Like, the way... I'm like, God, damn. And then I'm mad at Sabrinna because, girl, why do you keep talking to her?
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like, this girl literally told this man to his face, I don't think you good enough for my friend. I don't want my friend to wake up 10 years from now in the bed with you and you telling her that you like men. Like, and even when Sabrinna expressed herself like, Danni, I do not like when you say these things, she still does it. So you've shown me you have no care, compassion, or concern about your friend's emotional state when she's told you how this affects her. And I'm like, why should you get a pass? No. And so that's why I was like, that whole thing with Danni, I was like, girl, I would have been unbounced. The moment I saw her and the moment she called me, you had to call these bitches. I holler at them. I
just don't think that all of them owed her apology. I do think that Andi owed her apology because Andi just
definitely
for no damn reason. Girl, you simple AF as well. You really can't tell nobody nothing. The way that you were just like, well, what about Preston? Because we like him. Hold up. Like, Andi makes me so mad, I swear.
She does.
I feel like she was owed an apology about that. I feel like she could be owed an apology for feeling like she's being ganged up on and maybe the approach. But, like, owing her an apology because y'all also come to the table with drama, it's like, no, that's not what we're apologizing for. At all, if we apologize at all. Andi, yes, your ass needs to lead the charge, and you probably should have laid your sins down bare because we are also sick of you and sick of Gary's ass, and yet and still we still have to run up and support your cute ass. The way that they, like, season 1, I am barely making it out of that season. Just watching Andi fumble and just be stupid and content. Like, anyway. Back to the season 6, Erica.
I was gonna say, you want to just slide on the Andi? You want to just slide on the Andi?
No, but okay. So that's pretty much what we get with Danni. The sisters conversation. I don't feel like I agree. Like, I don't feel like they owe her all these apologies. Andi did because she came in a little bit too damn hot and was doing a little bit too damn much. And also, newsflash, Andi, no man is gonna fix your life if his name ain't Jesus and was sent by the actual Father. We ain't talking about Jesus, honey.
Okay, church collection plate. Let's go.
The way that Andi just even goes to, like, well, what about Preston? If you just get back with him, everything will be fine. Is everything fine that you done got back with Gary? I don't think so. Your life is a hot ass dumpster fire, boo boo.
Hell is hot. Hell is hot.
Before we get off of Danni, we also have to talk about her going over, introducing herself to Mindy, even though she said she didn't want to meet her. I don't want to know her. I don't want to meet her. But she goes over there, and then it's a conversation that plays out. And I just feel like it has to be a Tyler Perry Uno reverse card coming. Because the way that Preston was moving, I'm just like, huh? And then the way that Mindy is moving, I'm like, girl. But Mindy was also giving very much stupid. And I do not say that lightly, y'all. Like, be clear. I have a thing about, and I'm very particular. Y'all will pretty much never really hear me call a black woman bitter, even though y'all love to throw that towards Karen's way. I don't really want to call a black woman stupid or dumb. Well, this woman ain't black, but I don't like to actually call women those things because I feel like more often than not, those labels are attached to us in retaliation for very warranted ass reactions. So we don't actually operating in that space at all, but that's the best that your little PC ass brain could come up with in reference to classify what you deem my reaction to your very real transgression. But I digress. Mindy's ass is dumb, if you ask me. And I'm not saying that lightly because, girl, in what the hell world do you sit across from a drunk ass black lady who is supposed to be the love of your man's life wearing a ring after she just told you that he gave that ring to her and she turned that motherfucker down, and you say, well, I just need to know and want him to be sure. I want to make sure he gets it all out. I know all about you, girl.
I struggled. I struggled. And I'm going to tell you why I struggled. I struggled because I'm trying to understand what has Preston presented to Mindy that has her discombobulated mentally. Like, what has, you know, like, as a man, what has he demonstrated to Mindy that even has her in a place where she desires to be married to him? Like, what, and hopefully we can get some background on that, because I don't understand. But she was acting as if it didn't go all the way up, the elevator didn't go all the way up. I just want him to get it all out. I just want him to be sure. How can you want him to? You got a ring on your finger. I'm not understanding that. And then when Preston said, Danni, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. What is it? You're engaged. Obviously, I'm not understanding. And then for this woman to tell you the ring was mine, but I declined it, and he put it on your finger, baby, I would have slid that ring off so smoothly and sat it on that table, because I don't want to possess something that was meant for somebody else. I don't want that. And Mindy was I had high hopes for Mindy. I really did.
High hopes too, because she cute.
She cute. Mindy, okay, that dress. I said, all right.
That's the ass.
The color, the bob, the color of the dress. I said, baby, okay, I see you. But then when she opened her mouth, I said, oh my God. Oh my God. Where she come from? I just don't get. Mindy was just like.
I gotta also add the part of Preston gonna come and talk to Danni at her house later and take Mindy to the.
You gonna drop me off? You gonna drop? I'm your fiance. You gonna drop me off at the hotel, and then you gonna go to this chick house who I know you in love with? Excuse me? Hey, Vaughn.
What are y'all going to talk about?
That you can talk about at this table. I'm confused. I'm a little. I'm perplexed. I don't get, and the fact that he just had the unmitigated gall to say that with a straight face, and baby girl didn't even look at him sideways. Like, what you mean? Oh, we going to her house? Well, we might as well order something to eat so we can all have this conversation. What you mean? What you mean? Go to her house for what? Go to her house for what? I don't think so. I don't think so.
So that's the thing. Like, that's talking about. It's not what you think. I'm like, okay, so this might be a Tyler Perry reverse card, because we know that he like to pull shit out his ass and then do whatever.
He does.
And like, well, I want him to be sure, and before we get married. And I'm just like, but wait, it can't be that much of a reverse, because she's actually confirming a bunch of that actually will line up to they are romantically linked. I was like, okay,
yes,
damn cousin or something. But no, that it's giving they're actually romantically linked.
They're romantically linked.
100%.
Yeah.
He's talking about that he's transparent and that he's honest. Honestly dumb. Like, what?
Honestly dumb. Preston has lost me. Preston has lost me. He's just lost me. I don't get it. Danni was just like, oh God. But I ain't gonna lie. The way Danni bopped her little drunk ass to that table, she had me rolling. Baby, she had me rolling. And I don't know, somebody was like, was it Karen or Andi? She was like, why she walking like that? I was like, was that improv? Because that thing was so funny. It was so funny.
Yes, Mignon definitely did her thing with that performance. I wasn't really like at this point. She's a drunk woman gonna do drunk things. So she went over there and said what she had to say.
Yeah,
I was like not too much on the on Mindy part, because I'm like, if anything, girl, you over here to get any information that you need, even though you don't need no more goddamn information. But like, you trying to this girl here that he love you and that he this and he that, you rubbing into this girl face is not doing anything for you. Like, all of the pressure needs to be headed towards Preston's ass. Like, turn up the heat towards his ass versus us, because we already realized that something is not right. Her elevator do not go all the way up, and that's perfectly fine. We can leave her to that because we don't really know her. But
you won't know her.
We know him.
Yeah, yeah, we know him. We get on him.
And
yeah,
it's a wrap for you, Preston, because we're done. I was done when he gave the ultimatum. That for me, like, y'all, if y'all have listened to me for a while or you follow my channel, then you know there's just certain things that I really don't play with. And emotional abuse, mental abuse is one of those. I get that we want to talk about violence and physical abuse and all that, but mental and emotional abuse can be just as harmful, if not more harmful. And the moment that he decided to utter those words out his lips about how if she didn't marry him or become his girlfriend, and she was going to go marry some girl from back home, and she's white, and all of these other things, that was the moment that Preston lost my ass. And there is never anything that Danni ass needs from a man like that at all. So there's so many people that I've seen, especially leading up to this in the comment section, talking about something. Danni just need to make up with Preston and it'll be okay. No. Preston is exacting emotional trauma, emotional abuse on this girl. Unprovoked. So absolutely not. There is nothing that she needs from that man.
No. That's where I was done with Preston too, because I've said this several times. There is nothing that he can do for me as a fan that can redeem him from that moment. Because the moment that you tell me, if you don't do this, I'm going to go and I'm going to marry this other person. Either you could, like, first of all, you don't even really know Danni like that. You don't even understand the things that she's experienced since you've been away to wherever you go off to when you go off. Like, that for me said a whole lot. And I think the fact that you see a lot of people still saying that Danni need to be with Preston or she didn't treat Preston right. And I do agree. And when she made the statement, like, and then when she tried to give advice to Mindy, you know what I'm saying? It was like, and she was like, you know, she deserves so much better than Preston. I agree with that. And on the other hand, too, I feel like Preston deserved better than Danni, because I don't feel like she was never all the way in with him. I think she was reserved with some of the things that she was dealing with when it came to Preston, and that's her own hang-ups or whatnot. But when he did that, I was just like, how dare you? And then you do this at her job. You came to my job.
That part. For me, like, I was kind of like on Preston's side in reference to him not knowing what to do and her not actually helping, because at the end of the day, we all have to teach people how to love us, especially if they come to not necessarily acclimated to me or the type of girl that I am. So I felt like it was wildly just like a little extra for the way that Danni was handling him up until that ultimatum. Then that's when I switched. And honestly, the ultimatum has now tinted everything before it, because another thing that I think about very heavily when it comes to conversations around partnership and foreverdom and marriage and like finding your person, especially for Black women who desire like monogamous, healthy, loyal relationships, we are looking for men who are able to protect and provide, and that is not just financial and it is not just physical. The moment that Preston decided to swing that ultimatum around like it didn't mean anything, it let me know that she is not emotionally or mentally or spiritually safe with this man, and probably has never been. And it's interesting when we go back and think about it, because hindsight can definitely be 20/20. While I still think that Danni handled things wrong and how she was like having the conversation around race with him in a relationship, but also I'm a person who I don't date interracially, and I do that because I already know my damn hangups. I already know how I feel about it. I come into it very aware. Self-awareness is key. So I feel like part of the thing that I'm holding Danni accountable to when it comes to Preston is like, you already had a hang up about white men. You already had a hang up about not wanting to do the work, or not wanting to do extra work to get you to understand me. And baby, I have that same one. I'm not teaching you shit. You're gonna have to come to the table ready, okay? I'm not teaching you a goddamn thing. But I know that, and I don't go and date Brad because of it, Daniela.
Correct.
But I feel like now again, hindsight being 2020, was there something in Danni innately that felt unsafe emotionally or felt unsafe spiritually because this is how that goofy ass the thinks? Like if this is come out of your mouth now, it's like this is not some random thing, some last ditch effort. This is not a Hail Mary pass, Preston. This is actually in your mind. This is actually percolating up here, and you believe this could actually be okay. So this is your mindset. And now I'm like, okay, maybe she was kind of like a little bit right, and you weren't safe this entire time.
I don't think so. And I think I used to get into it with a lot of people in my comments because I said that first of all, she just met this man and he would be in her apartment when she would get home. I don't even know you. How did you get in my house? Oh, your landlord let me in. He would just randomly pop up at Danny's spot. Like, and I know for me as a woman, like, or as a person, that is a huge hang up for me. Don't ever come to my house. And I mean, don't ever joke about being at my house. Do not come to my house if I don't give you permission. Like, that's a big thing for me because I dealt with a stalker at one point, like years ago. So that's like it's a trigger. Like, if I don't know it's for a man, don't come. Like, I don't play with stuff like that. Like, I just don't. And I feel like with Danni, even when she would tell Preston certain things about how she felt, like what I don't want you to do, he would still do it. Like everything. The things I'm telling you that make me feel unsafe, you're still doing it. So why do you feel I should be compelled to feel safe with you, open up to you if you're disregarding my emotions? And I think that, you know, it carried on maybe longer than it should have. But I think that Danni was vocal about certain things that Preston just completely ignored. And so now it's like all that stuff added up. And like I said, I don't think she handled everything correctly, but I do think, because I had to go back to on some of the things that I said, like, Danni, just say XYZ. Well, she did, and he totally disregarded it. And then you come up with this ultimatum. I was like, Preston, who?
I think like going back to that and like vocalizing certain things, I think we also have to be a little bit more clear. Danni being a character that rests in a lot of joking and a lot of kikiing, she can find herself being misunderstood or kind of ignored in certain ways because you don't know sometimes when things are a joke or when they're not. I feel like there were times where she communicated some things weren't okay, but I felt like she was communicating that once it had already reached a boiling point, and leading up to that, she had joked about it and made it seem like it was okay. So even me not being a white man, not dating her, I'm like, girl, up until you just blew up about it, I didn't think it was a really big deal because you have been rewarding him and like not actually staking that boundary until you had already reached a boiling point. And I think that that's something that she still would have to be accountable to. Like, yes, once, you know, she got a little bit more stern, then it's like, okay, Preston, don't cross this line. But she had already created a track record of like, he come in and he cook and you like make a little half-ass joke, but you enjoy the food and then y'all have a good night and you have sex, and it's like, how is that supposed to reinforce? No, nigga, I don't want you here if I did not tell you to come here, you know?
I get that. I do. I get that. And she does. I think that could be a downfall with her character. Like, maybe Tyler plays too much into her being comedic relief, that she doesn't get the respect that she feels that she is rightfully owed. And I just feel like Danni at times, like, and I think that's one of the reasons why I don't really care for her character like that, because it's like at some point you just gotta stop joking. Like, you gotta stop making, like, say what it is without the tint or the hint of humor in it. And maybe we'll see a difference. Because I really felt like after her situation with Jonah, I felt it would be a different representative of Danni that we would see. But, you know, we ain't got there yet.
I thought so too. Yeah. But child, now we can go on to our next sister. Since we already fired up, let's just go on them down Andi Lane.
Let's just go on it.
When I tell you I'm so tired of Andrea Barnes.
Andi! Lord.
But I'm sick.
Always. I'm sick. Always and I'm always cute.
Tired of being sick and tired with your ass. Like, the laying the burden down in front of Danni. Okay, girl, apologizing to Danni. Yes, you needed to. I'm glad that she was able to be honest about where she is with Gary. But what I am still so very stuck on, y'all, and like maybe it's me, so y'all can tell me if it's me. What is it that you are in love with Gary about? I am literally rewatching season 1, and he would come to your house at 5 o'clock in the morning after or before going to the damn gym for an hour to give you some penis and then went back to his damn family, girl. When did you fall in love? What did you fall in love with? We even happen to hear her say, I just love Gary so much. I just love Gary so much. Oh my God, y'all know I have a problem with attachment and I just love him so much. When did you fall in love, girl? Because
nobody makes her happy.
mornings a damn week. He had his damn girlfriend up in your damn house threatening to get you damn disbarred. He wants you to take her case and don't take her case. And then, watch your season 1. I'm like, Andi has got to be for real at some point in time. At some point in time. We are 6 seasons deep and you are sitting at this damn bar talking about, I just love Gary so much. How? He just makes me laugh. Nobody has ever made me feel this way before. That is the moment that I said, well, I feel sorry for you. Because, girl, you have never really even experienced love. And how sad of a life must that be?
The fact, and no, I feel that way too. When she said, no one makes me laugh, I say, yeah, because he's a damn joke. He's a damn joke. Nobody, and I think Andi is another one that just perplexes me altogether. Andi, the things that she's dealt with Gary, going back to what you said, season 1, we know that he's married. He only comes over for y'all to have sex. He doesn't even stay the night with you. 5 in the morning before he goes to work. He has sex with you. He never stays a full day. So I'm like, when, as you stated, when did you fall so in love with this man? There is nothing, and I think the thing that really got me, because I did go back maybe a couple weeks ago, and I don't know, was that season 5? Maybe, yeah, where they were in Hayden's office, and she was telling him that, we're not good for each other. We know we need to let each other go. We know that. And I'm like, she cried, snot, everything, and then had sex with him the same episode. I said, Andi, what is going on? Like, I just feel like her character is such a merry-go-round. She's such a merry-go-round. And I'm just like, that never shuts off. And I just don't get it. And this, I'm not as strong as you. You're saying this to your drunk friend at the bar. I'm not as strong as you. I'm not. And she's said that before. I've heard her say that to Danni before when they had a previous conversation about Gary. And I'm just like, at this point, I am going to leave him, but today is not the day. I was like,
when the fuck
shut up.
Andi?
Today, first of all, the day was a long time ago.
We all get an invite to the damn day. When is the day?
The day was one of the days was when Jasmine popped up and put that gun on her. Another day was when he squeezed her to she almost, met Jesus. Another day was when he fought Paris in her house. Another day is when he got her a ring that locks and only he can unlock it. That was another day. Another day was when you had a sex therapist in her bed. Do I need to count the other days? The days you should have left?
I had it with Andi, and I cannot do it anymore. Like, I am really considering not talking about her at any of my goddamn breakdowns because at this point I have to ignore the foolishness because, girl, stop. But then you also out the same goofy ass pretty mouth want to stand across from Robin and demand partnership and stand up for yourself, and you ain't going to take that. And I don't even play like that. It only takes one time with me, Robin. Really? Because Gary done had 360 fucking two. Man.
Lord, not you threw that 2 on the end of them. That was funny. But yes, it amazes me who she has smoked for. It amazes me. Like, you have smoke for Robin, you have smoke for Hayden, you even had smoke for Zac, I think back in season 1. But with Gary, that man can do anything to you. anything, and it's okay. It's okay. Girl, ooh.
And if we're going to talk about gaslighting, Gary has been gaslighting her ass from the
Oh my God.
beginning.
Oh my God. Very beginning. You know, that episode where Andi was called on the carpet and she was at the law firm, and then you got Gary and Jasmine sitting across from you. You got your man hugged up on his wife, and they calling you to the carpet like you've done something. I'm just like, baby, the embarrassment, the utter and sheer embarrassment that this woman, like, I have to laugh. I have to laugh.
We didn't get much of Andi in this episode, but what we did,
no.
it just gagged me for the whole damn thing, because it's like, girl, I am also very particular about this. I don't want to give up on people, but some people you need to go ahead and set asunder.
Yeah.
And you might need to go ahead and release her ass, because the way, like, just sitting there and watching her talk about Gary, knowing that it's toxic, knowing that the relationship is problematic, knowing that it's actually harming her, and still full well was going to stay in it. Yeah. And then getting a call from him with his goofy ass, get the flowers and stuff out my, boy, if you get the hell out of my house.
Yes. Yeah.
You get girl.
Yeah, I would have respected her more if she would have said, you know, I know that this situation is toxic. I know that. And then she said, you know, thank you guys for being patient with me. My whole thing was when she started going into how happy he makes her and how he makes her feel. I said, you lying. You do not believe that. I don't believe that you believe that. And then, you know, she go, everything is about the sex. The sex with him is so good. It's so great. Let me tell you something. I've had great sex in my life. I've had amazing sex. I don't want nothing that potent. Stay away from me. I don't want nothing that potent that I could sit to my friend and say, girl, I know it's toxic. I know he choked me. I know you had to come over here and found me in bed halfway delirious. I know. But I can't leave him.
I'm gonna shot my ass in my own house.
But I can't leave him. And this is in no way, shape, or form making fun of people who are being abused. Like, no way, shape, or form. But when I look at someone like Andi, this is someone who honestly that Tyler has written for us to see, who have come to terms with, this is not a healthy situation for me. He's not even her man. And then for her to say all these things that was so uplifting about herself, like getting out of that, and then you have, and no, he's watching you. He got the little telescope. He's watching you. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. That's why it's so, like, and really, like, my heart go out to a lot of women, because I remember one time KJ was like, a lot of women reach out to me, you know, saying that they can relate to Andi. I said, did you pray for them? That ain't nothing to be cheerful about. No. They need prayer, like, seriously. Like, to be in that type of situation, that's scary to me. Like, but Andi, child.
And that's the thing, like, I don't necessarily, and maybe I could be mischaracterizing this, so y'all let me know that that's the case, but I don't feel like Andi is an abused woman. I think that she has been abused, but she also is not in the stereotypical circumstance where there is no way out. She has outs at every corner. So that's also why I don't associate her with that archetype, and why I really can't take her seriously, because she has boundaries enough to, like, I want you when I want you, but can't sever the tie because the penis so good. Girl, it don't make no damn sense. It really don't.
Right.
Women who are in abusive situations or in domestically terrorizing situations are not hanging on because of the penis. They're just not.
Exactly.
There's a sense of insecurity with themselves, of the devil that I know with the man. Like, there's lack of stability financially or mentally for them. Like, there's so many other things. And girl, you got those boxes checked. You are literally standing this turmoil and this terror because you think it's cute. And this is not Six Flags, honey.
It ain't no roller coaster still. But I agree. I agree. I agree. Yeah.
And that's all I got for little Miss Andrea Barnes. She's not gonna get my blood pressure up this season. I tell you that.
She not.
I tell you that.
I'm gonna just be laughing at him. I'll say what need to be said, but I gotta take Andi with a grain of salt because she's my merry-go-round. She just gonna go round and round, never come off that ride. She's gonna keep going on. We'll see what happened with her, but yeah. Sabrinna, I don't think much happened with Sabrinna in this episode. I don't remember. Other than the club scene, right? The bar?
Other than the bar, I don't think there was anything else. But we can go ahead and wrap her and Calvin and Maurice up all in the same thing because they are
all in the same. Okay.
Her storyline. Sabrinna with the whole "you've been so patient with me," girl. Go to hell.
Please. Please.
Because yes, you are annoying, but relax. Like, that is no sweat off of Daniela's damn brow to hear you out. And she's not even a good friend when she do it. So you shouldn't even talk about she's patient with you because she's not patient enough to not have jokes about your man's panties every 2 seconds.
Yeah, she ain't paid. There's no pay. When Sabrinna said that, I said, what? Thank you for being so patient with me, with Calvin. I said, and then even in that moment, Danni was like, I don't want to hear about no, like she was already dismissive, which has been her attitude the entire time. So I'm like, really, Sabrinna? Like, I just feel like when you have to dumb yourself to pacify your friend's behavior, that's a problem in that friendship for me. Like, you didn't have nothing else to say but thank you for being patient with me. Okay. I don't know what to say about that. But then her whole thing with, you know, how I guess the effects of what happened tonight with us finding out that Q was the one that was shot. And I ain't gonna lie, Lord forgive me. I said, you got shot in the shoulder, you fine. And he kept saying, I'm gonna die. Huh?
He got shot in the shoulder.
I'm like, you got shot in the shoulder. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I said, boy, if you don't. So I wasn't gonna shoot you. I was just trying to scare you. Oh, like you scared them holding up that bank? That's what you was gonna do? I said, baby.
When you around, you also find out.
And that shoulder found out tonight when you got popped. And I said, look at Calvin. Yeah, I knew I should have followed you. I said, Calvin. But I don't know. It was very hard for me to stay like in that moment, in that scene, because I felt like Maurice was team too much. I thought he was team too much with the cop. And I was like, because it was a serious moment. The dude got shot. It was a serious situation. And I'm like, there is nowhere where Maurice would have talked to a police officer like that and not been in cuffs or something like that. That cop was just like, I'm like, that was just, and I said, Tyler, I understand you are in love with Beyonce because we've been seeing you at all these concerts, but I'm on the run like B and Jay-Z. I love that tour. I said, shut up. It was cute, but shut up. But I was just like, that moment, I don't know. I guess I tried to find the positive in it, and I guess for me, it's continuing to show how Calvin always shows up for Maurice, even when Maurice has disrespected him, has questioned his sexuality, has done all of these things, have bad-mouthed him, all of that. Calvin has been consistent when it comes to his friendship with Maurice. He's never failed him. He's never slacked. He never turned his back on him. And I knew that Calvin truly was a ride-or-die friend for Maurice. I didn't agree with it, but when he tried to get his father to put up his house in order to bail Maurice out, I was like, we don't really see, you know, Calvin interact, you know, the men's interactions with other people, but I know that he truly loves Maurice and he is a genuine friend to him, even though I don't like Calvin like that, but he is a genuine friend to Maurice.
Yeah. I mean, Maurice was definitely doing a little bit too much, but it was community goal, so I was here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit too much for me because I was also like, sir, did you forget the golf club? Because don't nobody give a damn, this boy bleed out right here. In all honesty,
Yeah.
I'm nobody. I don't give a if he leads out right here because he has been a menace to society. And now we have done society a service. Where's my medal?
Where? You seen the movie Sugar Hill with Wesley Snipes? I know it's an old movie, but it's a part where he was like, won't you just do us all a damn favor and die? That's what I said about Q. Like, baby, you can close them eyes. I guarantee you we're not gonna cry. We're not gonna cry.
You can close them eyes. That's fine.
We're not gonna care. We're not gonna care when they put him on that gurney. I said, boy, I wish Maurice would have kicked him right off that darn gurney thing.
Go and take your ass over the ruthless.
Please.
Go be on that
please. You can go. And the character, I can't forget his name. Is it Macklemore? I can't remember his name. But he's a cute and he's a sweetheart. But I'm like, Q can go.
Right.
Q can definitely go. He really can. I'm like, you have caused so much mischief and you have turned these lives upside down. You really think we concerned about you being shot in the shoulder? No. No, I don't. And like I said, I forgot that I forgot he robbed Maurice. I totally forgot about that part. I said, they ain't got nothing. I was just trying to scare you. What? Okay.
How that worked out for you?
It ain't work out too well.
Last but certainly not least on our character list, because she is an official Sistas. I know that was part of the discourse when the new photo got released. People have been talking about it the past, I think, 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So, like, why people were getting all weirded out about Crystal being on the cover this season? I'm like, she's been on the cover since, like,
she's been on there. I thought that was weird.
But let's talk about Moments Fatima and what she got going on, because, baby, y'all can go ahead and get ready to hate me now.
Oh, God. You want to go first?
I'm just prepping the audience because I don't give a okay? Right. I don't.
Right.
I'm going to say what I got to say when it comes to Fatima, and y'all can enjoy your brains melting on Twitter or wherever the hell you come across this clip, okay? Enjoy it. Because I said what I said, and I mean what the hell I say.
Yes.
Fatima,
yes.
Baby, I don't know where this takes place in the timeline. I really am going to rewatch and try to get an understanding of where Tyler Perry wants us to be in reference to the Fatima, because part of it made me feel like, okay, maybe this is supposed to be after season 2 of Fatima, because there was a moment of like, okay, I'm glad that we're okay or whatever. Like, they alluded to that, and I'm like, okay, so this big thing happened on Fatima. Maybe this is after that. But then something else happened. I was like, okay, maybe it's not after that.
Right.
Fatima, get your shit, and go back to your damn condo. I'm gonna just leave it there, and then you can say what you gotta say, because I got a lot to say.
Baby, let me say. Okay, I got a lot to say too, so I'm gonna edit it. First of all, I'm so sick of Fatima keep saying I'm not concerned about the girls before me. I don't care about that. I said, Fatima, the lie detector has determined that is a lie. Okay? The lie detector has determined, baby girl, that is a lie. You do sincerely care about this thing. And there was so much, because I'm one of those people where I'm not an advocate for telling the number of people I've been with. And the fact that even in this moment, when she told him hers, he didn't tell her his. And I was like, I don't like that. Because why did you need to know that number? So why did you need to know how many men that Fatima has been with? I don't like those kind of questions. I'm not a virgin, and that's all you need to know. Like, I'm not a virgin, and we're going to keep it at that. But in addition to, I'm like, where did this urgency for my son? I got to find out what's going on with my son. This is the first time I've ever heard you say Michael. This is the first time you've ever uttered your son's name. But now you're so overly concerned.
Crazy. Tyler Perry gets very convenient with his writing when he wants certain characters to be some places they actually are not. And there could just be way more nuance to get them there. Sir, you were more concerned about settling on some kind of child support payment before you ever even saw this boy. Yeah. You settled on a child support payment before you saw where he was living, how he was living, and how he interacts with this woman. And now you're ready for somebody to be all up in arms, and you literally was doing this whole conversation leading us to where we all know that they're going to go. Right. But you basically wanted to lead Fatima into being okay with getting full custody for this boy out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Happy to accept $2,000.
Yeah. And I think that's the part that got me. I didn't like that when he was like, "Oh, you saw how she acted when I brought up that money." And I'm like, it's the fact that you brought up the money. That was when Zac went to the lawyer. It wasn't about visitation. It wasn't about how can I ensure that this. Well, you already knew it was his son, but how can I have visitation? It was the money aspect because you didn't want these women to come after your money. That's why you did what you did. It wasn't the fact that you had this overwhelming concern about your son. And now all of a sudden you living in this nice, lavish house. You and your fiance, you have bought these lavish cars, but now you concerned about where your son living, how your son living, and how Heather is treating your son. Like, you can miss me with that. And it was like, I really I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out, but I felt like we were just force fed that tonight. Like, you know where it's going, but it's just like, I did not like the setup for that. And even with Fatima, when she was like, you already got, if Karen child is yours, that'll be 2 kids. Like, it's a lot. And I think that for me, I just want to know, because he was like, oh, thank you for being so cool. I said, cool with what? Fatima has, she's been held to me.
He was right about that. She's been other women.
She has. And then and like you said, I don't like to use the word dumb too loosely, but it's like, at this point, I don't think, to me, Zac has done anything other than dick her down well, because that always have to be part of their conversation, that would make her like, I just don't see that. And I think we talked about that before. Like, when did we actually see them fall in love to this extent? For her to deal with the things that she's, that she's dealing with. And I've dealt with a man that has had children, and I was very upfront. But he lied to me. I didn't know he had kids younger. I didn't know he had kids. He had 2 kids, 2 baby mamas. And the first thing I told him was, I am not dealing with baby mama drama. Period. I'm not dealing with that. I mean, the kids are here. I can't do nothing about that. But moving forward, there's just certain things I'm not going to deal with just as a person. And he had to respect it. And I was going to be gone. If there was ever we had one problem, I stated, I'm not going to say what I said, but I said what I said. And we didn't have any problems again. And when I see with Fatima, with Zac, he just has not, to me, put his foot down enough in the sense of, this is my woman and my job is to protect this. Because I feel like Fatima she like a deer that's being hunted. And he don't try to stop the gunman. It's like, I just don't feel like he protects her. Like, I really don't. I don't, and I'm not dismissing the things that I feel like she's been wrong at doing, but I feel like she's not secure in their relationship. And tonight, I just felt like, what if she not treating my son right? Then what we gonna do? Then how we? And I'm like, slow down, buddy. Slow down. But that's why we're gonna go and visit. That's why we're gonna invite them over to dinner. And I was like, what's inviting them over to dinner gonna do? Like, what is that gonna equate? Because if she gonna be on her best behavior, at least I would think she would be. But Fatima, child, it's laughable at this moment, because I do not know why she's with him. I don't.
I know why she's with him. I don't know why she feels the need to still live with him. So that's where I feel like they need to slow this relationship down. And going back to, what I spoke about when it came to Preston, and like him not being an emotionally, mentally, or spiritually safe person for her to actually invest herself in and trust herself with. I think that the same thing is playing out for Fatima. Zac, Duvall is fine. We get it, y'all. We get it. Y'all love him in real life. But Zac is getting worse by the season. And so many things within this conversation were just huge ass red flags that Fatima is going to continue to bypass on this joyride. Hopefully not to hell, but it's seeming like it's going straight to hell. The body count conversation. Why are we still here? We've already tried this conversation. It was already laid to rest. Why are we still here? I think Zac makes it very clear exactly how emotionally unintelligent he is, how mentally insecure he is, and how he is not actually ready to be the man that he thinks he wants to be in a relationship, or at least within a healthy one. Why do you need to know how many men that Fatima has slept with?
Yeah.
You don't. Okay, cool. Why, when Fatima brings up something with you, and he has done this with Karen, he has done it with Danni, anytime somebody wants to point out something that Zac actually did, so this is factual. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Oh, go ahead. Oh, give it to you. Sir, all of that is your passive-aggressive way of skirting accountability when all you have to do is lean in and be accountable to it. The reason why things can continue to be thrown up in Zac's face is because he runs from them. He never wants to face them. And that is part of the problem. Like, in watching and listening to their conversations, and his rebuttal for pretty much everything is, well, you slept with a lot of women. Well, haven't you slept with a lot of men? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Because the men that I have slept with have not come to this goddamn door. Meanwhile,
period.
Every single one, every last one of the bitches, old and new, has come into the damn house. I've probably given water to these hoes, Zachary. So what are we talking about? What are we really talking about? Oh, I've had women and you've had men, but you don't even know these. You literally ran into the very one that has meant so much to me while we were running, and your ass
while we were running.
Only there because your ass wanted to be all up on me. Zac loves to gaslight and love bomb the shit out of Fatima. The way that he moves, and like, this is not, I want people to be very, very clear. I actually like the Zac character. I dislike a lot of the shit that he do, and I dislike how his mind is, and I dislike the fact that a lot of men are still operating in this space in real life. However, I get it with him. When I'm pointing out certain things about him, I need specifically men to hear it and see this as a way for you to identify specific tangible things that you can actually improve, that not only will improve how you interact with other women or other people within your life, but actually improve your quality of life, sir. Zachary, you were never really taught how to love. You were never really taught how to communicate. You were never really taught emotional intelligence. So you show up in this relationship with this basically healed woman. Yes, Fatima does have her stuff, and people want to go ahead and scapegoat her ass or like gaslight her ass because, oh, she's not perfect, so why are we going to talk about this? That's not what we're talking about here. But you weren't taught all of these things. So in your relationship, instead of being able to be secure, you have to be overbearing. You have to be clingy. You went on that damn run with Fatima after y'all had the incident that y'all had, and she's had all these things that she needs to process and think about, not because you were so hell-bent on being a supportive partner, but because you feel like the thing that you need to do in that moment is to be up under her so that she doesn't leave you. Your abandonment issues are playing out in that way. Your diversion or deflecting onto her every time she brings up something that's a very valid point about you that affects her is another way that you were not taught love correctly. Because guess what? Your mama did that to you. Your mama found a way to make it your fault that she's a hoe. And your mama found a way to make it your fault that she's a crackhead. And if she didn't tell you directly, then indirectly you picked up on it, you identified with it, and you carried it throughout your whole entire life. We have seen your brother scapegoat you into all of the problems of his damn life. So you literally let that shit play out in all of the rest of your relationships, and enough is enough. Time is up. You are a millionaire now. You have multiple properties. You have started a business. God has given you, God by way of Tyler Perry, his writing, has given you a new life, sir. And now it's time for you to step up and be the person that warrants all of the things that you have been given. Fatima's sitting in this bed, and I just feel like when she's talking, she has to dumb herself down in the conversation. She has to always meet him where he's at. And I'm like, at what point do he have to meet her where the hell she is at? At what point is he going to provide something other than amazing penis and a roof over their head? Because guess what? She already has a roof. And I'm pretty sure she found her favorite vibrator years ago. So, like, sir, you're going to have to give more. And it's no shade to you about needing to give more. I think that Zac, as a man, I don't understand how he has not gotten this, especially after being in a relationship with Karen and going through all that. Like, supposedly, the one thing that was the biggest issue within y'all's relationship was the finances. And now you have the finances and you're still the same shitty ass man who don't actually get it. So, like, sir, when are you going to get it?
Yeah, I agree. Unlike Erica, I don't like Zac. I don't like Zac, but I will always like give him props when it's needed, like when he deserves it. Like I ain't gonna just shit on him just to do it, but I don't like the character of Zac. And one of the main reasons is what you stated. I didn't have the money when I was with Karen. I couldn't provide for her. I couldn't do this. You think I wanted to see you leave for work and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. But now you're in a position where if that was the only issue in your relationship, you shouldn't have any issues in your relationship. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like until, and it's something you stated earlier, I don't remember verbatim, but it's like until Zac truly deal with his issues, his inadequacies, his insecurities, all of these things like that, because I feel like only a F boy is going to ask somebody how many, like y'all close to 40. It ain't none of your business how many people I've been with. Why is that a concern for you? That's something you might ask in your 20s. Like, or how many people you seeing now? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, something like that. But it's like to be in a committed relationship, this is your fiance, and you're asking your fiance about her sexual history. Like, that doesn't even make sense. So I think for me, and I haven't liked Zac since season 1, episode 1. I've never liked him. Never. The moment he got on his knees and begged Karen, you know how I grew up, you know how things was difficult for me. And I see this conversation a lot where I'm not dismissing anyone's trauma, their childhood trauma, but I feel like as a woman, we don't get that same type of grace because there's a lot of people, even for myself, I didn't grow up with my father around, but I don't blame that or use that as an excuse to say, oh, that's why I picked these type of men. No, because I had an absentee father when it came to now being total transparency. Back then, doing my thing, having sex, that was one thing. But if you were my man, there was a certain standard that you had to be for me to be committed to you. I'm just not going to commit myself to anyone. And I just feel like Zac has been scapegoating. Oh, he got this money. Oh, I'm living lavish and lovely. But I feel like the work that's needed to become who he think he is, it just hasn't been seen yet. And like even with Fatima, like to me, I feel like she idolizes the fact of Zac's body, Zac's sex game, how he's so good. Like, let's stop having those conversations. We know Zac is good in bed. Who cares? We can't try it. So I don't need for you to tell me every week. You know, I don't need to know that. But I would love to see, and to go back to what you said, she has to dumb herself down to fit in that space of their relationship, because why are we even having this discussion? And I would love to see more mature conversations, and even Fatima being her great self, because to me it'll show, baby, Zac is not putting himself in a position to elevate to where you are. So you're going to continue to get mad. You're going to continue to go off on these girls. You're going to continue to try to fix his life like you are young. You're going to try to fix his stuff. And it puts your issues further and further in the background when you got your own stuff you got to deal with. So I do agree what you said about like them not living together. Like it's a lot going on. But and it's hard to not think about Fatima when watching Sistas. Like the stuff that we know that they've experienced over there. Like Zac, and he's gaslit this woman so many times. Even when he talked about, I think the dumbest thing I ever did was think a woman like you could love a man like me. Kiss my ass. Don't do that to that woman. Like I felt, and I don't have a lot of moments where I feel bad for Fatima. I'm just being honest. I don't. I don't. But in that moment, I felt for her. Like, I really felt for her in that moment because that just wasn't warranted. Like, I just felt like he was gaslighting the hell out of her in that moment. But, child.
I mean, I feel like I'm in a place where I like Zac, even though he pisses me off a lot now, especially now. And I know for a fact that I like gave him so much grace at the beginning because I literally dated Zac, like was in love with Zac. I know this nigga like frontwards and backwards, and I know a lot of the things that we're seeing Fatima do frontwards and backwards. The difference is like that happened for me in my 20s. Like, girl, we are past 35. I am just assuming that like you will be able to move different. And part of me feels like it's one thing to love somebody because yes, that can make a huge difference and that can make you do a lot of things. But part of me also feels like this is lending itself to like, do you believe that this is the last chance? Are you only like staking your claim when it comes to this because you don't know if you could ever feel this way again? And that's a very real thing as women get up there in age. But regardless, as we, we've both discussed, Zac just has to come harder. And I want to also be very clear. He has to come harder. He has to do better because he is saying that he's something that he's not. If he wanted to be a boy the rest of his life, he perfectly could. But then say that. You want people to treat you and respect you on a certain level that you're not operating at. And that is where the discrepancy comes up. I would have no problem if you want to meet Fatima at being a boy and like, this is who I am and this is it, versus that gaslighting her into believing that you're actually more and that you're actually capable of more, which I kind of think that you are, but then you just never take the steps needed to maximize or actualize your potential. And again, it goes back to being more than about sex and more than about money. When you made the note of like, can they talk about something else? I'm like, yes, like you can't leave the country. We've already heard that. So that's one thing that Fatima like that she's not going to be able to do because of this relationship. I think that we have to, as the audience, be a little bit more mindful of like what Fatima is actually sacrificing to be in this relationship. They're only talking about sex or his drama.
Yes.
When his drama comes up and he don't want to deal with it because he thinks that running from it or excusing himself out of it is the more manly thing to do, I guess, versus confronting it and standing in it and owning it, then he then deflects back to her and tries to point out some of the things that could be potential problems for him about her. Meanwhile, those same problems have never walked up and introduced themselves to him or her at their damn doorstep.
Yeah.
Like Zac has got to be able to, like, we haven't heard them have a conversation about her favorite designers or her favorite authors or her favorite artists or other lawyers aside from Andi, who she actually idolizes and wants to model her career after. Like, aside from, like, let's go to dinner real quick, like, how are you supporting her in this trajectory to try to become a lawyer and to push herself through law school? Meanwhile, you are not putting up any fight at any given point of her to take charge of your life and facilitate all of the things that need to happen to get that back on track. Fatima is actually giving up a lot, and I get very annoyed when I get so many comments about y'all don't want to hold Fatima accountable. It's like, hold her accountable for what? The only thing that I can actually hold her accountable for is allowing herself to take a back seat to this man who has yet to prove that he is fully able to give her everything that she wants and deserves.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know that we can actually hold her as accountable for.
Yeah. I agree. I just feel like Fatima doesn't trust him, and I think that's deserving.
Yeah.
I think it's just, you don't trust them, and I think a lot of people, myself included, when it came to like how she responded to that picture situation, and I know a lot of people like to hold that over her head, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, do I feel like she handled that situation properly? No. Do I feel like she handled the situation accordingly to who she's with? Yes. Like, according to who she's with? Yes. Because I know somebody was in under my comments. It was like, if you saw a picture and your man looked like he was kissing his ex, you feel the same way. I said, honestly, I wouldn't. I know who I'm with. I know how to like I know who I'm with, and I know that my man is not. I don't know everything about everyone, but what I do know is that he's not going to disrespect me like that. That I do know, and I think because Fatima does not know for sure, her response was warranted for who she with. This the same man who slid out of me a few hours later. He was finding his ex, and I ain't got over that. I still ponder on that from time to time. So I think the way she handled it, even though, like I said, it was a lot, but for who she with, yep, it was on point.
It was a lot. It was a lot within their home. He took
right.
it to Atlanta.
Right.
She didn't want him to do that.
Right. Ain't nobody, yeah, you go on this search, like, where's Waldo? Where's Karen? Like, you all up and down or Atlanta trying to find this woman. And I'm like, for what? If she would have said, and I think that was one of the things that disgusted me too, when it came to that whole Zac thing, and all Karen had to say was, no, Zac, I didn't send the picture. She told this man no. That wasn't good enough because he already had it in his mind that Karen did. And I think at some point he wanted her to be the one that did it because I feel like you still want me. You know what I'm saying? In a sense. But I'm just like, baby, because somebody said something under my video. I said, baby, if I was Karen, I don't like getting into it with other black women. But I would have said, baby girl, look, better be glad that Kiss is all he got, because it could have been a lot more. It could have been a lot more. But and you know this. That's why we in this predicament now.
Not you choosing violence.
I would.
Coming back to this episode, we really only got the conversation with Zac and Fatima in the bed at the top of the episode, really setting up for Zac to try to go after Michael and get him for full custody.
Yeah.
Zac, I'm going to need you to prove that you actually going to be a stable father.
Please.
And then also, what was that little drift off soap opera moment where Fatima tells him, as long as it's only these two kids, and then you staring off longingly like, I don't know that for sure.
Because he don't.
Tyler Perry. If he come with another 3 strikes and your ass is out.
Because he don't. This how I know it might be another one lurking in the bushes somewhere. And people love to talk about Karen had sex with Zac and Aaron. So we learned tonight, which I already knew, Zac don't wear condoms. And I saw how Tyler wrote it. Yeah, you made me get tested mad times. Yeah, I did too. I said, first of all, Fatima, you ain't never had that man tested. You had sex with him a day and a half after you met him at your house when he got tested, sis. When he got tested. Okay, so we gonna do that. My pull-out game strong. Ping, pong, pow, I'm out. I said, oh, so you don't wear condoms. Okay. Okay. He probably got another child running around here. Girl, we don't know. Zac don't know. That's why he ain't getting no number. How many women you know been with? What, this week?
I don't know if Zac knows the number of women he's been with. I
don't think he knows either. He reminds me of my cousin. My cousin could not give a number. I don't think Zac can give a number. That's scary to me. I don't even want you touching me. I don't even want you touching me. You don't even know? Like, you don't even know? They made me think of Yvette on Baby Boy when she told Jody, you don't know who you been with? You been with that many girls? Baby, you can't touch me. No. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
No.
Y'all, and we finish up talking about Fatima by way of also talking about Zac. Feel free to come over to the IG or hop into the Twitter Spaces and drop a request if you want to sound off about tonight's episode. We are here. I'm here with Alicia, Allie, Nick, formerly Hustle Queen Lee on YouTube. Link will be in the description box, as well as on her Twitter profile if you're listening on Twitter Spaces right now, and then in the IG if you're on IG. But you can request me to come up and say your piece about the episode. How did you feel? What are you rating it? What was your favorite moment, least favorite moment? All of that jazz. You can do so over on Twitter or on IG. Okay. So as we wait for people to come and want to sound off, last things about Zac and Fatima. Do you think that, how I want to phrase this question?
Oh, Lord.
Do you think that Zac really doesn't know of his deficiencies, or is he like 100% gaslighting and just avoiding?
I really believe that Zac knows, and I use his relationship with Karen as like my I guess like my meter to judge it off of, because I don't believe that he was oblivious to the things that he's done or the shortcomings that he has. I just believe that for so long Zac has been pacified in what he does that people around him, they expect the bare minimum, and he has just been comfortable with giving that. And it made me go back to like in season 1 where he was when Aaron was over there and he told Karen that he wanted Aaron out of his house. So after that whole scene was over, Karen was like, you gave me half of the deposit when we moved in and you ain't paid a bill since. Sis, that's your fault. How the hell you let this man stay with you and not provide anything? And I think even when he got with Fatima, the first out of jail, what happens? She paid a $5,000 bail and you stayed at her house and you got coochie. You don't have to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to work for anything. It's just big. So I think that he knows. I just think that Zac has been okay with being a bare minimum type of guy. I think he knows, but I think he also feels justified in some of the things that he does because he consistently brings up, he kind of does what Danni does. Well, what did you do? How many men you been with? Because you know, and then, oh my God, I forgot to bring this up. When he told Fatima, like, don't be having no dudes coming up here pretending to be your baby daddy because I don't know how much grace I can extend. Excuse the hell out of me. The audacity. Because the grace that Fatima has given you, my dude, that should never come out your mouth. He knows. I think he knows. I do think he knows. I really do. I do.
Which honestly feels like even more, it feels even more like destructive thinking that or like knowing that he knows where he's falling short and he's like actively doing it anyway. I think the redeeming thing, at least for me from the very beginning with Zac, was like him speaking to he's trying and he's trying and he's trying and wanting to believe that. And again, like I said, I literally have dated a Zac and I've already gone through my journey of like healing from certain things that went down in our relationship and forgiving that person for all that has gone down, and understanding like the way that I basically was able to heal through it is understanding that we're both on our own journeys and respecting our separate journeys and respecting what we came to the table with. So when he told me like things were too easy with me, like understanding that comes from a place of like not having a stable life at home and not being able to count on consistent love and having very conditional love and like seeing me, love him through things that probably others would have just thrown him away for, was very weird and very like, okay, this can't actually be true because I've never actually seen it happen. I think when you are a unicorn in somebody's life, it can be a very traumatic thing for the unicorn in addition to the person who is just now being confronted with this new way of living. So I say all that to say, like, for me, it makes me nervous and it feels very destructive to believe or to like let myself believe that Zac actually knows, because then I feel like there should be even more smoke if you know. It's one thing for you not to know, and I feel like there was various stages in my romantic journey with my Zac where this nigga just really did not know. Like, he literally was doing the best that he possibly could, and it's unfortunate because you just literally can't even fathom some stuff that has become normal to me. And that also just lends itself to like some people you're just not supposed to be with at certain times and y'all asses is not aligned, so stop trying to make this shoe fit, but whatever.
Yeah.
But then the thing like you were talking about, for Zac to know full well, and honestly there actually being proof and there being visuals that point to he could actually know full well, that makes him very dangerous.
It does. And I also think that a lot of that has to do, like, from Fatima, like with his mom. Zac almost makes me feel like he's like a child searching for that love that he maybe didn't receive as a child from his mother, and he looks at it from these women in his life. And I think that it's just a lot of things. I feel like for deeper conversation, like, it's unfair because I think that he knows that's what he's in search of, because the women that he connects with as far as relationship wise, they're women who some got their stuff together, financially stable, they can provide shelter, they can like they can almost mommy him. And I used to always say that Zac, before we even knew about his mom, I always say, I'm like, he got mommy issues. Like, that's like, he acts like he's like a spoiled child who just wants to be like, please me. I'll take care of you sexually, but everything else I need for you to provide that for me. And I just think that with him knowing certain things, it's difficult because, like, even on tonight's episode, it's like, well, I don't want my child to grow up like I did, because I know what can happen if that is happening, and I don't want that to happen. So it's like you have a clear idea as to what I don't want to see, what I'm willing to do to prevent that. Even with his mom, when I think he told Fatima, like, she got to want it. She has to want the help. She has to want to get better. She has to want, and it's like the same thing apply to you. Like, what has happened that you have this very skewed perception of yourself because you're not what you think you are. And if other people have to do the work, what makes you think that you don't have to? So, you know, like, I think he knows. I really do.
Damn. I mean, points were made. Points were made.
I love that saying. I love that saying. Those are my two favorite things from you. Points were made, and girl, go to hell. They're my two favorite ones. They're my two favorite ones.
Because I can't, like, you can't deny, like, let's let it simmer. Like, the points are laid out there. You can't really,
yeah.
Say?
Yeah.
He can't do it. And that's also a thing, like, and that's the thing that I think that comes up with a lot of the characters within this universe in particular, because so many of them can speak to everybody else's issues, but when it comes to their house and in their own backyard, they can't seem to figure out how to turn a lawnmower on and get to work.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, Vaughn, we talked about Aaron and Karen already. It's in, so when it's over, you could go back in. It's in the beginning.
Yeah. It's at the very top. And you might not be happy, but it's okay. We love you, Fave.
We do. But big love.
Our Sisters Keeper. We are calling a thing a thing. And with that said, let's go around and give advice to our sisters. If y'all don't want to sound off, you can request and do so before we get ready to wrap up. Feel free to request me. But while we wait, and if you want to sound off, we're going to go ahead and give our sisters some sisterly advice. Andi, leave that man. Leave him completely alone. Block his ass and move the hell on. I don't know how you did it, but you swindled him out of this damn penthouse. It is yours now. Put his ass on the block list. The damn security guard, doorman, do not need to let his ass up. You don't want to go back to Robin? Cool. Where the hell Paris is at? Since you seem to be the one that believes that a man is going to save something. I don't actually agree, but if that's your idea and your logic, and that's what I got to do to help try to usher your ass off into the promised land, then by golly, Miss Molly, can we call Paris, please?
Call. I feel the same way with Andi. Andi, I just leave Gary. Leave Scary Gary, and I want to see you become a friend. I'm not even going to say become a better friend. I want to see you become a friend. I do want to see Andi, because I always be getting on Andi's ass because it's very much deserving. But my advice for Andi is truly deal with her inadequacies just as a woman. Like, what is really going on with her for today not to be the day. For today not to be the day. Celibacy might help. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she could do it, but that would be my, because if penis make you wet, if that penis, be celibate from that penis. I ain't saying cut off sex altogether, but leave that penis, sis. Leave that one.
Okay. Daniela, since we giving up stuff, put the bottle down and put the pen down. We're going to go ahead and be sober. we are okay and we are strong enough, as our friends have pointed out, we are strong enough to face our demons and our transgressions. Yes. Let's try to do sobriety, man. Let's start making a cleanup of this mess that you have made of your life. 30 days.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Say no to drugs, Danny. No to drugs, no to alcohol, no to men. Go to Google, type in a black therapist, and go sit on that couch. Because I feel like there have been times Danny so much, she has given great words of wisdom. They few far in between, but she does give them. And I believe that with the right help and tools, she probably can truly be the solid rock that they need as a unit. And I really want to see that happen with her. I do.
Sabrinna, I'm not going to stop saying this until your ass starts doing it. Make decisions that you want to make in your life, and that's it. Nobody else needs to approve of them, honey. And stop getting on my nerves about
it. And Sabrinna, I normally wouldn't say this, but I actually do mean it, and I'm shocked. Date that princess. Date that princess. I just feel like, you know what I'm saying? You know, just, I ain't saying don't be no concubine or nothing, but enjoy your life. She said that was the best date that she ever had been on in her life. That said a lot to me because he just took her to dinner and dancing. I'm like, if that was the best date you ever had, let that man spoil you just for a little bit. You ain't got to be committed to him. Just date him a little bit. Mm-hmm. He owned all these restaurants. Have fun. And, you know, and Sabrinna, stop allowing what others think to dictate your actions. Like, you know, E said, when it comes to Calvin, I want you to leave him alone. I want you to leave Calvin the hell alone. Leave Calvin and his red panties on that yellow brick road and take your ass to Oz and leave him in Munchkin Land. That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do.
Fatima, do you need me to come and help you pack, honey? Because we can stay in a relationship with Zac, but we need to create a little bit of distance. And I think that we need to not only create a little bit of distance for you, but we need to create a little bit of distance so that he has a better sense of urgency to get to where he's trying to go in reference to being a better man. With you up in his house, right up under him in this bed, giving him sex whenever the hell he wants, because he thinks that that is the holy grail behind money for life and purpose. It is convoluting y'all's relationship and not putting you in a place to actually set yourselves up for a healthy, fully sustainable future. So, when do you need me to come over, and how many boxes do you need?
Yeah. And Fatima, I want you to call Pretty Eyes. I feel like go on a date with him. I can't think of his name right now.
What you and violence, the way that they have come for me about Paul, baby.
Paul, because right now.
Bring on that Paul noise to Alicia, because I didn't say shit about Paul, even though.
Y'all can bring it. I done took me a good sabbatical from YouTube. I'm ready. I feel like Fatima, I just feel like, you know, Fatima's a good woman. She really is. And I just feel like, you know, Fatima, you just have fun. She don't even have fun with Zac. Like, just go out. Have fun, like have fun, have a good time. You ain't got to have sex with Paul. I mean, if you want to, you can. You ain't got to do that. You ain't got to do that. But just have a good time, enjoy yourself, and you know, just put you first. Like really put you first. You do not have to settle for Zachary Taylor. At least not this version of Zachary Taylor. Let Zac become who he claimed he is. Like, but baby girl, enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself and get you some new friends.
Ooh, that part. And call Erica, because I'm coming with the boxes. Okay, Karen, you're doing great, sweetie. I don't have no advice for you. You're doing great. Keep doing what the hell you're doing is the damn advice.
I'm gonna say, sis, I'm proud of you. Karen Mott, baby, I am proud of you. You are standing firm. You are knowing your worth, and it is beautiful to watch. Just even in this one episode that we saw, I loved it. I loved it, sis. You I love this for you. I love this. Just keep doing it. But I love this for you.
Just down, so haven't watched it. Just came to say hi, ladies. Hit that like, yes, hit that like button.
Hey.
Thank you, Chubby Face Trey. Said that y'all speaking your whole mind. I love it.
Oh,
a couple of things from the Twitter space. Child of God 1 says, as a grown man myself, I have a liking for Zac at heart. I feel he ain't a bad person at all, but I don't like or appreciate most of his words and actions. I wouldn't have no woman in my life with him before sharing my opinion and then letting her make her own choice. Me personally, I had no problem with him asking. Oh, this is going back to when we were talking about Karen asking about the gaslighting. He said, yeah. No problem with her asking him about does he gaslight women. You just said it. Gaslighting can be telling someone you are something, but being the opposite. She said afterwards, do you make us think you're perfect when behind the scenes you're doing stupid shit? She did say that, but I feel like nobody can. That part, it gets a little convoluted because nobody can make you believe that they're perfect because you know that nobody is perfect. So if you adopt the idea of like, oh, he's perfect, that's not something that he actually could make you believe. Like, I feel like gaslighting is like, you are clearly a cheater and you tell me I'm not a cheater. The word perfect is like, he never told her that she was perfect. Yeah, that he was perfect. And if that's what she conceptualized in her brain from the things that he did, that just means that was her perception. All of his actions were very genuine and true. So that's why I didn't like the way that they actually worded that in that particular part in reference to the gaslighting conversation, because it just made it seem more trivial than it was. And then they also had something else about Zac. Oh, wait, you asked a question too. Oh, wait, it's a bunch of stuff here. Hold on. Going back to Zac, he most definitely has love bombed and gaslit her multiple times before, and it is so wild to me because they ain't been together for nothing but 6 weeks or so, and already she going like she's gonna like about half or a little bit more of what Karen did over the course of the whole 3 years. Exactly. Fatima is doing a hell of a lot. They also asked, what do y'all think about the fire at the end? It was so heartbreaking to watch for me because Karen would have just called for help, but she forgot Pam already left, thought she was trapped, and was trying to save her. The way she busted in there screaming and crying for Pam. What do you think about the fire?
That scene was like, when I was watching it, like, and I've stated this before, I'm a huge fan. I love everybody on the show, but I think I've consumed a lot of Ebony Obsidian's content, like as far as her movies, her TV shows. And she's such an amazing talent. Like the way that she did that, you really would have thought she was in Him and Smoke for real. Like she really played that role, but it was sad. Especially like when she initially finally passed out. It was just like, even though you know like she ain't nothing gonna happen to her like that deep or whatever, but it was like the performance was like heart-wrenching. You know, like just the possibilities of what could happen being in that moment. And I wasn't in it, but like my mom was in a fire when I was in elementary school. Thankfully, you know, she was able to make it out or whatever the case may be. We lost everything. I think I was in second grade. So it's like the knowing like the aftermath of something like that. But Karen played it so well. I was like, I was getting a little misty.
Yeah.
Like I was, you know, so like it really did touch me in a sense. So it was like I think that it was sad. But I'm actually looking forward to what happens after this. I always think about like when there's a fire, like things grow in rain, but things are destroyed in the fire. But everything after a fire is brand new. Mm-hmm. So I kind of look at it from that perspective, like the things that we're going to see with Karen from this moment on, it's going to be like a rebirth, a brand new type of thing with her character. So in that sense, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, Child of God also said, pregnant and knowing how dangerous it was, she went headfirst into the danger, trying to help and save Pam. Ebony acting her tail off as usual, but she was just giving me refresh vibes. I feel a new leaf will be turned over for everyone this season. I'm ready for the ladies evolving. Come on.
Yes, me too. Me too.
Thank you so much for your thoughts and joining us on the Twitter Spaces. I hope that you enjoyed it tonight. We'll be back every week.
Yes,
Episode
every week.
Over on YouTube, DNC Greatness says facts though. Sis was trying to save Pam, forgot that she already left. Yes, that scene was a lot, but Ebony has been. She's just amazing. Like, I absolutely adore her as a talent. Everything that you said, like, I definitely wholeheartedly agree and co-sign.
Yes.
And I thought it was a great way to end the episode. I will say that this was an okay season premiere. I feel like some people have mentioned, it was a little bit too much more recent Calvin and Q and not enough of the sisters, because when we think about it, like, we got only Sabrinna and Andi at the bar, and the time they used with Calvin, more recent Q, they could have given additional time to Sabrinna or Andi in that way to really set us up for the season. However, for the most part, it was like putting to bed the storyline with Danni and then ushering in this new storyline with Karen and what's going to happen with her. So I think it was a pretty decent season premiere.
I do too. I ain't gonna be negative, y'all. It was. I would say it was what it was supposed to be. It was what it was supposed to be. I look at it in the sense of, we see these women come to Danny's aid. We were introduced to that new character. What's her name? Tina, the bartender.
Child.
We were introduced to her.
Also on Bruh, but wait, is she the same? Lord help us.
Is she?
I'm pissed. That's the girl. You watch Bruh?
No.
That's the crazy girl from Bruh.
I tried to watch it. I couldn't.
Baby, her character is wild.
I couldn't get into it.
But go ahead.
Couldn't get into it. What were we talking about?
You said it
the
was
fire.
We gave what it was supposed
to be. The episode. Yeah, it was good for what it was. It was good for what it was. I think, to me, the most shock, I just forgot about that robbery. Like, I forgot about that darn robbery. And when Maurice was like, I want to go to bed. I ain't got no bed. And it was a pillow top. I hollered. I said, dang, I forgot he was robbed. But it was what it was. I'm like, the real talk. Like, I'm looking forward to, like, Karen's rebirth. Like, I'm looking forward to this. Like, I really am. And I think, like, with Andi, it was a struggle. I know we're gonna be in a struggle mode with her for a while. Like, I sense that, and I'm just like, the fact that she's gonna be happy when she walk in to see Gary with all them flowers on her damn bed, like, girl. But it was good, y'all. I enjoyed it. It was straight. It was straight.
Thank you so much for joining me on our first Our Sisters Keeper live after break.
Yes.
Little mixture of commentary, review, but then also real sister to sister conversation. I greatly appreciate you for going on this journey with me, with this show that we love.
Absolutely. And y'all, I see a lot of people about Hustle Queen Lee. I retired that name, y'all. I retired that name. So if you're trying to find me on YouTube, it's Ali Nick, ALINIC. First three letters of my first name, first three letters of my last name. If you're trying to find me, it's Ali Nick on Instagram as well. So I just had to retire Hustle Queen Lee because it was good when I started, but we done with that. On the bigger and better thing. So yeah, and y'all tune in every week. Me and Erica doing Our Sisters Keeper. It is her brainchild. It is her I'm gonna say baby, but I love the fact that it's something, because honestly, when you talk about Black women and having a community even on YouTube, and just give you your props too, For those who are listening, I think that with me and Erica, I don't know everybody who review Sistas. I do not, but what I do know is that when it comes to me and Erica, and it is no diss to nobody else, but I just do feel like we offer a different type of dialogue with it. Like we could be funny and voice our opinions and things of that nature, but we could also provide personal experiences, things that we may have witnessed others experience, and come from a place of sincerity, compassion, and grace, because I feel like we are, led by those things in our own personal life, and the things we don't tolerate, won't tolerate, but also coming from a place of, but I can understand though. Mm-hmm. I may not like it, but I can understand though. And so I really do, I do appreciate that, because it could get lonely out here in these sister streets. It really can. It can be and very bashing. You know what I'm saying? And, and I'm one, you could disagree, and I'm okay with that, but I just, let's just have a good time. And I know these talks are going to get more impactful as the season go on. Yeah. So tell everybody y'all know, if y'all looking for good conversation, good follow up, make sure y'all tune in every Wednesday after the show to our Sisters Keeper. We're going to be giving y'all that conversation that I believe you guys really, really will want to indulge in.
Yes. And just to take it one step further, y'all, also, it's okay if you're not at a place to consume either one of our content and or our Sisters Keeper, because one of the things they're trying to do with this platform is create a more safe space for people to have real dialogue. If you are a person who has yet to start to basically self-interrogate, cultivate any type of self-awareness that will point to any type of internalized patriarchy, internalized misogyny, internalized anti-blackness, which I see running rampant throughout the Sisters fandom, and especially in how, certain people are favorites and how people are talked about and how, people are defended or attacked, then this is not the place for you. This is the 100% place for people who are going to have real, honest, open, unpacking conversations. We are going to confront limiting beliefs. We are going to look inside of ourselves and actually question, are we projected? Am I only perceiving this way because of what I experienced? And we're going to be able to have those conversations in a very safe and healthy way, which is not something that is the norm to happen online, but it is very, very meaningful for both Alicia and I, and we are dead set on doing it. That is our intention. With that said, we love the Lord, and yes, we are healed. However, don't test us. So we're letting you know to start, come if you're actually open-minded and you are willing and ready to sometimes maybe be triggered, called in, not necessarily called out by specific commentary that you might actually relate to, but could also be problematic. And if you are not ready and you cannot handle it, it's cool. There are plenty of anti-Black, misogynist, and patriarchal content creators for y'all to go ahead and follow. Be free. And do so. Now, I know I wasn't as eloquent as you are, and I was a little bit more.
That's okay. That's okay.
But that's honestly what our Sisters Keeper is. That's exactly what we're trying to establish and what we're trying to build on and continue to create safe spaces. Y'all, if you are following me already, then you already know that I don't play about my community, and I will tell somebody to go to hell real and quick when they come with the shenanigans and the bull. And it's only going to get even more intense when it comes to that, because the internet could be a safe space to have amazing, intentional, vulnerable dialogues. And in any of the places that I operate on the internet, they're going to try to get as close as possible to that.
Yeah, child. All that.
All right, y'all.
All that.
I'll go ahead and get out of here. Oh, wait. You want to add something else?
Oh, no, I didn't. I just want to thank everybody who's on the live right now, whichever forum. Thank you guys for supporting and subscribing and commenting. And I see some people in the comments too. Yes, I've been gone. I took a sabbatical from YouTube. I needed it. But I have a lot of exciting things coming up on my channel, so you guys will be able to see that in the upcoming days. But I do appreciate the love. I'm grateful for it. Thankful for the connection with Erica, and just I'm in a place of expectancy for what God is going to do throughout this form and where He's going to take it. So I'm appreciative for that.
Love it. And the way that we're going to close out these episodes, y'all, is definitely with our sister's prayer. Who's going to do the prayer? Because we did not practice this at all, y'all. This is literally off the cuff. But we said we wanted to do it.
We did.
And I just remembered that.
We did. We said we wanted to close out in prayer. We didn't practice no prayer.
So we're going to pray.
I don't mind praying.
Oh,
I don't mind praying. There anything specific that anybody have for 15 seconds? Is there anything specifically that some people may want prayer about that we can do it together, cultivating this prayer community? Drop them in the chat if it's something specific that you want me to, to say. Talk about your health, your business, your family, your next step and what you want to do. Uncertainties. I know some people down there. You got some people trying to spin the block. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Yes, that was for you. Whoever said
that was for you. Don't miss it.
Yeah, that was for you.
Go ahead and say what you might need prayer for. Then go ahead and because we're gonna pray over our sisters on this good fictitious show, and the one that you identify with the most, go ahead and take that part of the prayer for you. Okay?
Yes. Okay, I don't see anything, so I'm gonna just go off the cuff.
All right.
Oh, you saw something?
No, I haven't seen anything either. I was checking Twitter.
Okay. All right. Well, okay, here we go. God, I thank you for this day. I thank you for life, health, and strength. Father God, I thank you for the opportunity. I thank you for the community in which you are cultivating. I thank you that, God, this was not by chance. This was not by circumstance, but this was a divine appointment and a divine connection, and we give you glory for that. God, I thank you for everyone who's listening under the sound of my voice, that every need shall be met, every need shall be supplied. God, I thank you right now for touching every mind, every heart, that you are cultivating, Father God, a spirit of gratefulness, a spirit of appreciation, a spirit of thankfulness. And Father God, where anybody may be in lack, I'm asking that you would be their fulfillment. Father God, for those who are experiencing loss, I ask that you would be their comfort. Father God, for those who are experiencing, Lord God, need, those are in need of help, God, I ask that you bring someone that can fulfill them mentally, emotionally, spiritually. For those that are seeking deeper connection with you, Father God, I ask that that is met. God, I just thank you right now for every opportunity. I thank you for every door, and every door that you have closed. Father God, I thank you that we will not walk into that, but we shall go and see greater opportunity. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for Erica, Lord God. Continue to bless her with great ideas. Continue to bless me with great ideas. And God, I just thank you for everything that you're going to do. Even in this fictitious show, God, I thank you for Tyler. I thank you for giving him the mind that he has and the people that he's been able to employ. God, I thank you that you will begin to cultivate a community of Black women that we can uplift and speak life and manifest and have those things that are not be. I thank you for everything that you're going to do. We give you all glory and all honor. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. That lovely, 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 lovely. And with that said, we are out.
We out, y'all.